We'll keep you up to date with what goes on there, of course. It's 12 minutes past 8. If you were watching Breakfast on Saturday morning, you might have seen an interview that Naga did with a nurse called Lucy Duncan.
Well, Lucy had spent 5 hours comforting an elderly man after he crashed into her car. He was disoriented and suffering with symptoms of coronavirus. Sadly, he later died.
Well, here is Lucy describing what happened immediately after that accident. Oh, gosh, it was such a desperate story, but also so generous what she did to stay with him. As you can imagine, there was a huge response to her story. She's had thousands of messages of support and thanks on social media. So we want to catch up with Lucy, see how...
Virtual hugs. Lucy, what has the response been like? Because so many people will have...
Suffering. I mean, he was really suffering at the time, wasn't he? And you accompanied him to hospital. I mean, that...
Well, I know that, as Louise said, I know you're not able to drive your car at the moment. That's getting fixed by a local garage.
Go back to work, but what else? Thank you so much. Other rest, brilliant. Thank you very much indeed.
We're not allowed to advertise in this programme, but sort it out, will you? Just sort it out.
Right, so if you are thinking about taking up a new hobby while you're stuck at home, there's one for you to consider. This is ballet.
Yeah, the Royal Academy of Dance is offering free online lessons designed for people aged 55 or over. Well, joining us now from Surrey is the dance teacher behind it, that's Sarah Platt, and the Academy's president. We haven't got Sarah Platt at the moment, but we do have Dame Darcy Bustle about the importance of ballet, the importance of dance. I'm sure that is something that resonates with you at all times, but particularly a time like now.
For people who are 55 and over. And Darcy, really, can you start can you start taking up ballet when a similar age to me, to be honest with you?
Platt, who is the person who's come up with this idea. Sarah, thank you very much for being with us on Breakfast this morning as well. So there'll be lots of people watching at home thinking...
Darcy, you know me quite well. You know that I'm not exactly very elegant.
Give us a little example of one step at a time. For those, Sarah, who would be thinking about potentially doing an online class, can you give us a quick example?
See, genuinely, you've nearly persuaded me to give it a go.
And then demi-plie, and then a rise. That's
Lovely.
all you can do.
I should be rising and
you
playing
two are wonderful.
later.
We really appreciate your time. Thank you both very much indeed. I may become a silver swan. Bye.
Trying to elongate my spine, Louise. Was that all right?
Oh, gosh, there's so much going on, isn't there? 27 minutes past 8. Let's have a look at all that's going on with the weather. March for keeping us company, as ever, her new time of 27 minutes past the hour. Thanks, Carol.
Good morning. You're watching Breakfast on the BBC with Dan and Louise this morning. Let's bring you up to date with some of the main stories around this morning. And the government is aiming to increase the number of people being screened for coronavirus to 12,000 every day. Well, as coronavirus cases rise across the UK, many of us have been finding new and sometimes unusual ways to display...
The thought is out there. Maybe there's a hill nearby that you can see.
Yeah, because up close it just like a lot of straight lines and a weird hashtag on the floor, but there it is.
Let's find out what's going on with all the sport news, and we might get some... all the best matches over the last however many years, and then they could just play them, couldn't they?
Louise will sort out the snacks, all right?
Marvellous. Tennis ball up those 2 flights of stairs.
Oh,
perfect.
Thank you.
Thanks, Sal.
Thank you very much. When Italy first went into lockdown, we saw lots of videos, didn't we, of people there singing and playing musical instruments quite brilliantly. You might have wondered if us Brits would react in the same way.
Well, the answer is, it turns out to be a resounding yes. Have a little look at this.
It's impressive, isn't it?
I love that.
We're joined by Steve Pycroft morning from the Kaleidoscope Orchestra, who you just heard. In a moment, we'll speak to choirmaster Liz Taylor from the Do Your Thing choir. Morning to you, Liz, as well.
Hiya, guys.
Steve, goodness me, that was fantastic. How on earth did you put that all together?
Who are obviously in lockdown and not been able to do the things they normally do. When you give them a little challenge, they just step up so impressively.
Absolutely, yeah. I think
We've got a little bit of that. Let's have a look.
Logistically, with the fact that you're trying to get everybody to sing yesterday, and it was one of the worst.
Yeah. Well,
I mean, it's tough times, isn't it, for musicians, because presumably so
people involved in your projects as well, Liz and Steve, making a difference to people and And to our viewers this morning as well.
Carry
I feel
on
like
making the
lifted with a bit
music.
of music and a bit of singing.
Nice. The idea of holing up in a remote corner of the UK might seem pretty appealing right now, particularly if you're trying to self-isolate, perhaps in the middle of a big city.
But living miles from the nearest town does create its own challenges during the outbreak we're all experiencing, and farming unions say more support is needed. Here's our Wales correspondent, Howell Griffith, with a report.
There are some things that are really good about things changing. So we were going to do 2 different interviews with our 2 next guests, but we're just going to put them in together. So can I introduce Rick Astley? Astley, good morning to you. To Johnny Vegas. Oh, we haven't even got him.
Johnny Vegas is coming.
So disappointed.
While we wait for Vegas, we're going to speak to Rick Astley. Good morning, Mr. Astley.
Good morning.
The reason why we're going to speak to Johnny as well, who's doing some amazing stuff in his hometown of St Helens, but people who...
I mean, can we come? I'm kidding.
people the news as accurately and as honestly as we can, and there's some horrible stuff out there.
And I think that obviously that goes for all of us.
Active time for musicians. Are you writing stuff? What are you up to?
Aren't we? Because you're wanting to know the latest information. You're wanting to keep in touch with. It's going to last. How long we're going to be like this? So we're just sort of trying to dig in and get on with it. In normal times, I suppose we could say we're all experiencing the new normal at the minute.
That they're cancelled, but I know for fans, this is the kind of thing you've bought your ticket months in advance. You're really looking forward to it. It's absolutely gutting for people, isn't it?
No, for sure, and we
gig. Absolutely wonderful to see you. Thank you very much.
We haven't been able to speak to Johnny Vegas. Just to let you know, he's an ambassador for the Steve Prescott Foundation. He's been working, taking medicines. And
that's it for today. Thank you so much for being with us. Have a really good day. Stay safe, and we shall see you soon.
Thanks for watching.